Okay, this is part one of how to deal with tilt. Now, tilt is something that affects every single player. If people say they never go on tilt, they're full of shit. It's impossible. It still affects me to some point, just a lot less than it used to. But it needs to be dealt with because it's one of those things that if you don't get it under control, it's going to ruin your game. Now, I wanted to start this series off by, defining tilt and what exactly is tilt. And tilt's emotion. That's all it really is. I mean, it's just being emotional. And humans are very, very emotional people, and emotions tend to govern our decision-making process, whether you like it or not. So one of the things that happens is when we're really emotional, really stressed, really excited, it tends to affect our decision-making process, and we do dumb things at the table, okay? Now, tilt happens one of two ways. Usually at a poker table, tilt can happen before you even sit at the table. You could be in a bad mood. You could just have gotten, late, lost your job, you could have, your car could have got broken into, your girlfriend could have been fighting with you and you got into a little argument and that. So you could sit down at the table and be in that state before you even get on the table. And that's still tilt. You're still tilting. It's just not because of poker. It's because of something else. Now, you could tilt on the table. You can be playing the best poker of your life, and no matter what you do, every time you get in there, you get rivered. Or every single time, 50-50 over and over again in the tournament, no matter what you do, you lose every single race. I mean, these things tend to bother us. That's understandable. And the third thing is something that's probably not really thought about that much, and that's getting tilt as a result of winning. So some players will do really, really, really well, build up a really nice stack, and then just lose it all because they're so excited that they made so much money. So tilt can come from a number of ways. It can come from, before you even sit down at a table, or it can come at a table as a result from wins or losses. And it's something that you need to deal with, because if you don't deal with it long term, you'll never be a profitable player. I mean, it's very hard to be if tilt affects your games. I mean, I've known some players I know some online players who flipped out, who would flip out if something went wrong, and then sit down at the table and play fine. That's different, and they'd play fine, but I always used to make the argument with them that while they think they played fine, they were making mistakes. So I just wanted to define tilt, and everybody kind of experiences it. Don't think it's just you, but there are ways of dealing with it, and I'm going to talk about them later on in this series. Okay.